33-year-old woman who was recently involved in a motor vehicle accident presents to a medical clinic for a follow-up visit. She was in the front passenger seat when the vehicle swerved off the road and struck two pedestrians. She was restrained by her seatbelt and did not suffer any significant physical injury. Since then, she has had one outpatient visit and she is recovering well. She is here today upon the request of her family members who insist that she has not come to terms with the incident. They have noted that she has significant distress while riding in her car. However, she does not seem particularly worried and she cannot remember many of the details of the accident. On a mini mental examination, she scores 27 on 30. Which of the following best describes this patient's condition? So what this person has is something which is called dissociative amnesia. So there's a group of disorders in psychiatry which are called dissociative disorders. Dissociation is when you lose touch with reality. Okay, so people dissociate, that is escape from reality involuntarily, and this impairs their function. And why do they do that? Because they're stressed about something. Okay, when people involuntarily just escape from reality with their minds to avoid certain kind of stress such that it impairs them in life, okay, in some or the other way. It doesn't have to be a major impairment, but let's say that they have just dissociated themselves to avoid stress, and this is called a dissociative disorder. Now there are types of dissociative disorder. Okay, so first is dissociative amnesia, which is also known as another type of which is a dissociative fugue. Yeah, so you have four types. Okay, we have three types mainly. One of them is dissociative amnesia or dissociative fugue. Another is depersonalization or derealization, and another one is dissociative identity disorder. So dissociative amnesia is you forget. Amnesia is forget about whatever stressful event was there. Okay, this is the most common, and this is what she had. She had this motor vehicle accident. She got worried about it. Her brain used this major defense mechanism, but she forgot about the accident. She cannot remember many of the details. Okay, and this is, as most of you all chose the correct answer, this is usually a self-limiting condition that in a while, when she can cope, this memory will come back. It's not gone forever. Okay, so it's very common, the most common type of dissociation. You forget what happened with you and it usually comes back. Let's have a quick look at the other types. So a more severe form of this amnesia is something called a dissociative fugue. Okay, F-U-G-U-E, which is a classic who am I, where am I situation. Put it in Hindi like kaun hu, main kahan hu wala situation. Where a patient is so stressed by the life event that he forgets about who he is, where he is. Sometimes he just walks thousands of miles and he'll end up in a new city and he will have no idea what his name is, where he's from, that level. So this is a type of amnesia, but it is called a dissociative fugue. Then you have, so these are both kind of same but different severity. Then the second one is a depersonalization or a derealization disorder. So a person feels that he is not himself. Like he's, he's depersonalized. Like he might just feel that I am not my body. It's a little difficult to explain, but he'll just feel that whatever is happening around him is not happening to him. He'll be dissociated from that experience. It will be like, no, I'm watching my body, all this is happening, but it's not happening to me. He's depersonalized, he's derealized. He's like, oh, this is not real. Again, another way to cope with stress. Then the third disorder here is your dissociative identity disorder, which is very popularized, also called the multiple personality disorder. So here, this is another thing which happens because of stress, which is very interesting. Wherein the person is stressed, so they form multiple identities which will cope with different types of stress, so much so that these identities don't even know about each other. So let's say a patient goes into a crowded marketplace or something, and here you want a really extroverted personality to cope. So that personality will come out. Or if the patient is in a scenario where somebody is hitting them, then a very quiet, intimate personality will come out. So basically, it happens to patients of abuse who have had a lot of psychological trauma. And the defense mechanism they come up with is that they come up with multiple identities and multiple versions of themselves. So much so that these versions are not even aware of each other. So this is called multiple personality disorder or dissociative identity disorder. If you really want to know more about this, you all can just go on YouTube and check out like videos of people who suffer from this disorder. Okay, it's quite interesting that you'll see that sometimes midst of making a video, they suddenly just change their personality into somebody else, because that is how quickly they shift. Okay, so there's usually like a main identity, and then there are a lot of other identities. And with years of therapy, the patient comes to know what the other identities are, but at least initially they're not aware of the different identities. That's all about dissociative disorders. And so the most common one was amnesia, and this question was asking about that, and the memory loss is self-limiting. Let's look at the other options. Condition is the least common form. I just told you that dissociative amnesia is the most common form of dissociative disorder. Patients are unable to recall obscure details in this condition. Obscure means uncertain details. They actually can't remember even the main details. Okay, so this in dementia, usually they don't remember obscure details, uncertain details. यहाँ पे they'll totally block out the condition. That is why this is the wrong answer. And yes, here you can see that some questions are very close to each other, but don't worry. Usually in the main exam, the questions are not very close to each other. I'll give you this, that B is a little close to the real answer. Pharmacotherapy is the mainstay of treatment. Not really. Usually with therapy, the amnesia can get sure. We all have seen this in a lot of movies. Patient doesn't remember, lost his memory, then therapist tries to bring it back. Okay. Pharmacotherapy is not the mainstay. It's therapy which is the mainstay of treatment. Patients are also more likely to have bipolar disorder. No, just think about it a little bit. If somebody is having stress and this is a reaction to stress, then what disorders are they more likely to have? Anxiety disorders, stress disorders, post-traumatic stress disorders. All of those are quite classic, okay?
Thanks for watching. Please give a thumbs up and subscribe for more.